Well, hello guys, and welcome back to a Steven Universe Future review. A brand new show with the exact same characters and following up on some of the exact same plot lines the original show left open. Now, I thought I still had time for this. I thought, we probably have until 2020, right? It's only a few weeks away. No, last week, as of recording this, they just decided, no, we're going to drop the first 4 episodes. I mean, we knew about it in advance. And they've already dropped 2 more since then, and we will get to them when we get to them. I have no release schedule as of this moment. Everything's kind of in chaos right now, or settling down, because when they released these episodes last week, I was in the middle of finals, or I was starting finals. Now, 50 pages later, I am exhausted. But here we are. I can't get a Star video or even Rick and Morty, which is also airing right now, video out to save my life, but I've always got time for Steven. Yay. But yeah, so Steven Universe Future, our brand new show, we're picking up. It's not exactly where the movie left off. It's been a little bit of time, but not much. Like, they've rebuilt Beach City. I swear in the movie it was called Little Homeworld. It's now Little Homeschool. Semantics. Oh god, I'm rusty. It's been too long. But let's just get into the actual episode. So it starts off with the new intro, which instead of using We Are the Crystal Gems, uses Here We Are in the Future, which I actually do think is a clever change. Right? It makes sense. And it even the name Steven Universe Future even makes sense thematically within the show, because now we're in the right? Because we're in the future from where the previous show took place, but we're also dealing with the future. This is no longer about the past. It's not about rose quartz. I say that, but we'll get to that episode in 2 episodes. But it's about the future now. It's about Steven. It's not everything that we know in the previous show has changed. We're now dealing with future elements. So yeah, I think the name is fine. The theme song using Here We Are in the Future is good. Everything works. So we start off the episode. Steven is welcoming he does this welcome back day for a new gym that I don't think we ever get the name of. It's okay. It's a fine design. I still love the corruption part with the horns and whatnot. That is still, I'm still so, it's such a minor thing, but I'm always so glad they did it. Cause it really is thematically appropriate for the show. We'll get to volleyball, but it's just the little details like that are just so good. But he welcomes back this new gym. There's these pamphlets about, because, it's been time. They've been corrupted. Who knows what's going on? The pamphlets are cute little jokes. And then they take a car ride down to Little Homeschool. On the way there, Steven monologues about, what's been going on. We see Lars in his little cake shop. We learn about Sadie and her band. We see Connie is studying for college, even though they're 16. I just feel like they couldn't think of anything better for Connie to do. That's why they did that. Because studying for college 2 years out is kind of weird. But they put her in the lo-fi beats to relax and study to room. They did actually make that joke, if I'm correct, over on the YouTube channel. And they eventually make their way to Little Homeschool, which is, it's the new place that Lapis, Bismuth, and whatnot Peridot built in the movie, and now it's complete, and they've turned it into a school where all the gyms get together and they get to teach things. And yeah, it's actually a really good idea. Did MLP do this? MLP did this in one of the later seasons as well, where the main 6 became teachers, I think. And I thought it was actually kind of clever there as well. It was a logical choice for that show to make because, Twinkle Sprinkle started off as a student. So for her to end as a teacher makes a lot of sense. this show, I think it's fun to have these characters. It's an interesting setting to explore, right? It's a set piece, for lack of a better word, that'll just allow these characters to explore these situations. It's fun. It's a fun idea. We see Garnet teaching like a yoga style class. We see Pearl teaching a class about Earth stuff, like how to answer and pick up a phone call. Very simple things. Professor Amethyst is teaching a class on how to decide for yourself, which is perfect. Amethyst is the one I know Pearl, it makes sense as a teacher, but just like the class they gave Amethyst and everything makes perfect sense. And the fact that her and Steven leave to go get lunch instantly, great. That's great. The opening, it's all set up, right? The first half of this episode, I mean, it's called Little Homeschool. So it's setting up Little Homeschool, which will be our setting for presumably the rest of the Steven Universe future. Am I the only one who's not expecting the show to be very long? Like, I'm assuming it's only going to be one season. I feel like it's going to be a shorter show. Like, if it's only 12 episodes, I wouldn't be surprised. It's probably going to run the full 24 gambit. But if this was only a 12 episode season, that would in no way surprise me. This show feels a lot smaller. And that's kind of the feeling this opening gave up, of setting everything up. It sets your expectations differently. It shrinks them down a little bit. It gives us, because this is all our setup for where we are in the future, right? Where the characters are, and we'll probably spend some time with each one of them as time goes on. But for the moment, we're keeping it small. But while talking to Amethyst, Steven brings up that he doesn't want people being hurt because of his mom, and there's still that one person who he's been unable to save. And yeah, we'll get back to that hurt because of his mom, because I don't buy that anymore. Things have changed. Because he goes out into the forest behind Little Homeschool and goes up to this little series of rocks, and there it is, Jasper. Oh, how I have waited for this for years now. And hey, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But this is our reintroduction of Jasper, finally. So, if you don't know, Jasper is my favorite character in this show. It's got a long and complicated history, and it's partially y'all's fault. Back in season 1, Jasper is the villain, and I love to hate her. She is such a piece of shit, and watching Garnet kick her ass is so cathartic, because in the first season, she is the literal embodiment of homophobia, and Garnet is the literal embodiment of a gay/lesbian relationship. So Garnet kicking her ass, great. It's great. I love to see her be destroyed. And then she disappears. She gets abducted by Lapis, kind of, fusion, and she's gone until the 3rd season. She comes back in the 3rd season, unfuses from Lapis, and then tries to fuse with Lapis again, and we learn she's basically in an abusive relationship. There's still arguments going on, as far as I know, whether or not Jasper is the victim, whether or not Lapis is the victim, whether or not they're both the victim. They're both the victim? But yeah, so when she comes back and the whole abusive relationship angle is brought up, that's the moment her redemption became possible. You finally see a chance for her to redeem, a chance for her to become better. And then as the season goes on, she fuses, she gets in a fight, she hates fusion because she only loses to fusions. So that pisses her off, so she eventually fuses, and as she's getting corrupted, she calls Steven out, and I do kind of agree with her in that moment. I do kind of agree with her here until they start fighting. But she calls Steven out, then she gives us the pink diamond reveal, which was great at the time. And then she gets corrupted. At the time, it was really cool. Everything to do with the right, that was really cool. But in hindsight, I kind of hated it. Like, it just completely wrote the character out of the show until technically the season 5 finale, the series finale of the show, where she shows up for a moment. But I've enjoyed the character. I've loved to hate her, but I've also always saw a redemption coming since season 3. And then a video, the Bismuth video, and in the video on Bismuth, I said Jasper's redemption was inevitable, and a bunch of people in the comments disagreed with me. We had some chats back and forth. At the time, I didn't really care either way about Jasper, but after Bismuth happened, and I just everyone was like, oh no, she's not going to be redeemed, screw her. It made me actually start to care, and because of that, she became my favorite. I don't know what that's called, but basically the more people hated on her, the more inclined I felt to defend her. And now here we are, finally, with her redemption. Oh wait, no, this isn't actually a redemption. This is more complicated than that. Because the other thing I want to talk about is expectation versus reality. Going into this episode, okay, I didn't even know Jasper was going to be in it. I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't know Jasper was going to be in this until she showed up, halfway into the episode? Because I knew nothing. I had not seen a trailer or anything for this show. Well, okay, she's in the opening, but this episode in particular. But my hope is always Jasper gets redeemed. How they do it, I didn't really know. I mean, I've had a few ideas. But yeah, so I've always thought Jasper was going to be redeemed, whether it was like Peridot or Lapis. I just figured it was going to be something like that. The episode we got definitely isn't that. She's still playing the villain here. I still see the depth of the character in the chance at redemption, but it's more complicated than that now. And so that's my expectation versus my reality. The reality of redemption that we got in this episode isn't redemption. And for that, I should kind of dislike the episode. But I don't, because I think what they did with her character is more interesting than what I had in mind. Just straight up redeeming her, while it could be fun, this is more depth. This is more interesting than just saying, oh, you're redeemed. Hey, welcome to the team. No, she's not redeemed, but she's not redeemed. So she confronts Steven, and she's basically become a hermit living on a rock out in the woods. And she's preparing for the next fight, because there's always going to be a next fight. Steven wants to help her out, be like, oh, hey, come back to little homeschool. You want a purpose in life? There is no more fighting. I'm going to give you a purpose in life. She tells him to fuck off. So Steven calls her out and says, this is your fault. You're the one. Most of your comrades were corrupted by the diamonds. You corrupted yourself. You're the one who's becoming a hermit living on a rock in the woods. It's good banter. I really like it. I think both of them have merits to their side. And yeah, she says, oh, I'm not going to listen to you. I don't take orders from weaklings. You want to boss me around? Fight me and win. And Steven says yes, which is great because it shows his character development. Back in even season 5, Steven is very adverse to fighting. He will always try to talk his way out of a situation. And he goes in willing to talk. But once talking is no longer an option, he's willing to fight. Steven in the original show would not have done this. But here, now he has grown. Whether that be from the events of the original show or just age in general. It's probably a little bit of both, more of the first one. He is now willing to fight. I like that. It's good character development. And Jasper is genuinely excited. That's when I knew I was going to like this episode. The moment Steven's like, what? Yeah, of course I'll fight you. It's great. That little smile, man. There's a lot of little smiles in this episode where I'm like, yeah, fight. So they start having their fight, and Steven doesn't exactly start off well. He's kind of getting his ass kicked. He's more prioritized around the things around him than actually fighting Jasper, and Jasper's kicking his ass. Yeah, it's a start of a good fight. I still love how they animate Jasper. It's a lot. She gets a lot of interesting facial expressions. They put a lot of effort into her mouth and her eyes. Big expressions, a lot of close-up shots. The animation is different from every other character. It's not like the animation looks it kind of looks different. It's more serious. The way she portrays her facial expressions make her wholly unique amongst the rest of the cast. I like it. But yeah, she's kicking Steven's ass, and she points out that Steven has never beaten Jasper on his own. Every time it's with a fusion, mainly Smokey from Earthlings. And so Steven gets pissed off and starts fighting back. And when he does this, he turns pink. Basically, it's kind of like a rage boost or something. At the moment, it seems like that. Again, we'll get into... was the episode called Bluebird later on? But yeah, it reminds me, it's like a rage boost. Basically, he gets a power-up. He's now stronger and faster. And it's still showing that Steven's still learning, right? He's not done yet. He still has room to grow. And now he's got this brand new power. And he starts fighting back. And again, little smirk of her being Jasper being happy with the fight, saying not bad. It's so much better. It's not a redemption, but it's showing that yes, she can grow and she is genuinely enjoying this fight. It's more character depth than just redeeming her. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with just redeeming a character. Paradox Redemption was good. Lapis had some really great moments. What's the episode? Can't Go Back. I think it's Can't Go Back. The one where they're on the moon is a phenomenal episode until the ending. But yeah, Steven starts fighting back and he starts winning. He starts kicking her ass, and the entire time she's enjoying it. It makes perfect sense for the character. Him fighting back, the two growing from the fight, especially her. She just wants someone to fight. That's been her whole thing. Like she says, she came out of the ground fighting. So her enjoying the fight, perfect sense, love it. And then at the end, Steven admits that, yeah, this new power, he's never seen it before, shows that he still has room to grow. He still has much to learn. And he wants Jasper to be his teacher, to teach him more about himself or whatever. I do like the idea of Jasper teaching combat down at the school. That's kind of funny in my head, but again, that's me. I'm happy with what they're giving us here. And it's really good. And then the fight ends. Jasper walks away, saying that this is his only lesson, but hey, he can always come back because she enjoys the fight. She doesn't say she enjoys the fight, but I mean, her actions speak louder than her words. And then the episode ends with Steven summing up the moral of the episode about how people still have to grow and change. And then that one gym without a name gets like a last line, and that's where the episode ends. And hey, we got a new ending. No song, just music, no like lyrics or anything. I'm fine with that. At least so far, I haven't looked at everything yet. And yeah, that's the episode. Not what I was expecting. It's expectation versus reality. My expectation for Jasper's redemption was something completely different, and this wasn't that. It stuck truer to the character. Like, it's been 3 or 4 years since the original show, and while most of our characters have grown and changed with the times, Jasper is still rooted in the old ways, always being ready for a fight. But it shows that there's that ability to change, that she enjoys the fight with Steven. And I brought up earlier how Steven says that, he doesn't want his mom hurting people anymore. But if you notice the way Jasper talks to Steven, it's not about his mom. This is what Steven Universe Future is. It's about moving away from the past of Rose Quartz, the past of Pink Diamond, and moving towards the future of Steven. And that comes in the form of villains who hate Steven. Jasper says that Steven isn't his diamond, but she's not trying to make him his diamond. Jasper has fully accepted Steven as Steven and still hates him. And we'll get to Bluebird, which functions in a very similar way. It's growth, man. It's growth on the characters and on the show, and how this show is different than the original Steven Universe because it's about Steven Universe. But it's good. It's a good start to the show. It gets all of our setup on the way and addresses something I've wanted the show to address for years now. end in a way I didn't expect it. I enjoyed it, and it's interesting where it'll go from here and what's all gonna happen. And I do hope we see her again. I'm not done with this character 100% yet, and I hope the show isn't either. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this rambling mess. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.